Aloha, this is Brian Finch, and I want to talk to you today about the Freedom Foil Board. This is a second generation Techno. This is very similar to the Colapinto model. Colapinto model has a very prominent step tail in the back after the boxes, and then the kick goes out. This one doesn't, go straight, boxes way to the end of the tail, and then you have the kick out to the tail. The white point on this board is moved a little more forward. And the biggest difference by far is the channel bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but this double barrel concave channel bottom goes really well. This does two things. One, it's helped immensely paddling into waves, being pushed in by whitewash. I find myself being like just shot out onto the wave face and up onto the foil very easy and quickly. The concave also seems to be helping a lot paddling into waves, bigger waves, and cutting down the face and getting up on foil earlier. And then as well, when you do hit the bottom at an angle, it does channel the water off and gets you back up onto the foil instead of grabbing or biting and pulling you down, ripping off the wave. Huge believer. Absolutely love this channel bottom approach. And nice bevel, very angled bevel rails here as well help in aiding bouncing off the whitewash and all that kind of good stuff as well. This thing is super light, still super light. First one was light, this is incredibly light. Let me read you the dimensions here. This is a 4.3 by 20 inches, 3¼ inches thick, 32.8 liters, and Romans 12:2 is the verse on this bad boy. This thing is just incredible. I love this board. It floats, it has, even though it's the same liters as my previous board, this thing, it just cuts through the water better, it paddles better than the same size board in just a bit in a flat bottom. This Freedom Foil board also has a nice scooped deck. I asked for this deck to be a little less scooped than the previous model because it was kind of holding water when I was coming up and flying, and it was taking a while to slosh off the deck. That could be, I think, remedied by putting some maybe channels off the side or just bringing the concave down a bit. I do like it, still feels very responsive. I'm stoked on it. One of the biggest differences in this board compared to my original Techno model is the fact that we pulled the tail in significantly, quite a bit. Previously I felt like my foot was still in the center of the tail and I would have to shuffle it over to one rail or the next to really get a very how do you say that? Take two on the tail. One of the biggest changes we made to this board compared to my previous Techno is that we pulled the tail in significantly. I felt previously my foot was just in the middle of nowhere. It was quite a travel to get my heel to one rail or my toe edge to the other rail and apply that direct pressure. Narrowed it up, and this is now an even more responsive board, being able to directly apply those pressures left or right. With the toe and heel pressure. It's changed it up a bunch. I really enjoy the responsiveness that I'm feeling now. It can be a little tricky pumping and getting used to the pumping because same thing, you put your foot over a little bit pressure too much on the rail and you start pumping like mad, it's going to push the board out to the side. So it took a little bit of getting used to, a couple sessions until I finally learned to compensate pumping and not throwing myself off balance through that more narrow responsive tail. This board also has a little bit of rocker. It's not huge, it's a bit subtle, and it's kind of hidden through the channel bottom, so you're getting more rocker out of it than it would look like just holding up and looking at the outside leading rail. It's nice, it's forgiving, and I like it. What can I say? All in all, this is a great board. I'm thrilled. It works even better than the previous model, which I was extremely stoked on. There's really, I wouldn't change anything about this board. I can't think of any changes. Experimenting right now with some other boards, and maybe we'll find some improvements there, but as is, I highly recommend this board. They're incredible, super well constructed, very strong, ridiculously light. This thing is still under 5 pounds. I can't recommend Freedom Foil boards anymore. I mean, they're just phenomenal product. Super stoked. Huge mahalo, Chris. Appreciate it. Beautiful boards. Go check them out. Freedom Foil boards, and as well Freedom FFB Hawaii now. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please drop me a DM, a comment, a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really helps me out. Appreciate it. And go check out these boards. They're unreal. Thank you. Aloha.